Japan's wage payment system is based on four main pillars. Wages must be paid in legal tender. As of April 2023, digital salary payments into accounts with fund transfer service providers are partially permitted. Wages must be paid directly to the employee, not through third parties. Wages must be paid at least once every month. Payments must be made on a specified and regular date. Employers are allowed to deduct social insurance premiums, taxes, and similar expenses. In addition, wages can be transferred to an employee's designated bank account if the employee agrees. Let's break down Japan's minimum wage landscape. Tokyo leads at 1,113 yen per hour, followed closely by Kanagawa at 1,112, and Osaka at 1,064. Aichi is 1,026, and Hyogo just hit the 1,000 mark. It's important to note that the highest rate always prevails. This means if an employee is subject to both a regional and an industry-specific minimum wage, the employer is legally required to pay whichever is higher. All wages must meet or exceed this legal floor. In Japan, the monthly payment system is standard, and it's made up of several key components. First, we have the monthly salary itself. This is split into two parts: the basic wage, which forms the core of your monthly income, and allowances, which make up a significant portion of the total. Allowances can cover a few things: accommodation, family support, and transportation, all designed to help with everyday living costs. On top of this, Japanese companies typically provide semi-annual bonuses, including a summer bonus and a winter bonus. When you combine your monthly salary, all the allowances, and these significant bonuses, you get your total annual package. So, compensation in Japan isn't just your base wage, it's a composite of that base, a range of allowances, and these important semi-annual bonuses. In fiscal year 2023, bonuses paid by private sector companies in Japan were equivalent to 4.49 months' worth of salary. That's right, almost 4.5 months of extra pay. So why is this system so strategically advantageous? First, a high proportion of total pay. Bonuses make up a significant share of an employee's total annual earnings, which can be very motivating. Second, cost flexibility. This bonus structure allows businesses to adjust labor costs more immediately in response to economic downturns, giving companies a practical way to manage expenses. And third, reduced overtime costs. By relying more on bonuses and allowances, companies can lower the base rate that overtime pay is calculated on, which can help control overall labor expenses. In short, Japan's bonus system isn't just a perk, it's a smart tool for both employees and employers. While some Japanese businesses are starting to adopt yearly wage systems, they don't actually offer many practical benefits for employers under the current Japanese labor law. Here are a couple of key considerations to keep in mind. First, overtime is separate. Even if a company adopts an annual salary system, they are still legally required to pay for overtime work. So, this system doesn't eliminate that obligation. Second, annual salary systems are primarily for management. In practice, when companies use this system, it almost always covers only management-level employees, not the broader workforce. So let's talk about planning for departures and the severance pay system in Japan. Here's something important to know. Almost all enterprises in Japan have a form of severance pay. This is typically a one-off payment that's given to an employee when they leave the company. Now, how is this amount actually calculated? Well, the payment is normally based on two main factors. First, your length of service, how long you've been with the company. And second, the reason for leaving the enterprise. So for example, whether it's a voluntary resignation or a dismissal matters in the calculation. But here's where it gets interesting from a financial perspective. There are actually some really significant advantages to this severance pay structure. Number 1. Favorable tax treatment. Severance payments are treated more favorably for tax purposes than ordinary salary. So you're potentially keeping more of that money in your pocket. Number 2. No social insurance. These payments are not subject to social insurance contributions, which is another financial benefit. And number 3. Accounting recognition. If a company contributes to a government or financial institution's severance pay reserve, those contributions can actually be recognized as business expenses, provided certain conditions are met, of course. So it's a system that benefits both employees and employers in different ways. Alright, so let's bring this all together with a practical checklist for your Japanese compensation strategy. If you're setting up or managing compensation in Japan, these are the key things you need to have in place. First up, Establish core compliance. From day one, you need to implement the 4 pillars of wage payment that we discussed earlier. This isn't optional, it's the foundation everything else is built on. Second, set the right floor. Make sure you verify and adhere to the latest regional and industry minimum wages. These can vary by location and sector, so staying on top of this is crucial. Third, build a competitive package. Don't just think about base salary. You want to structure your compensation with a mix of base salary, allowances, and significant bonuses. This is what makes packages attractive and competitive in the Japanese market. Number 4. Leverage bonus flexibility. Remember that semi-annual bonus system? Use it strategically. It's actually a powerful tool for managing your labor costs while keeping employees motivated. Fifth, reserve annual salaries for management. Here's an important one. Avoid applying a yearly salary system broadly to non-management roles. This system is really designed for management positions, so keep it that way. And finally, number 6. Plan for severance. Don't wait until someone's leaving to think about this. Integrate a severance pay system into your long-term financial and HR planning from the beginning. So there you have it, your essential checklist for Japanese compensation strategy. Alright, before we wrap up, let me share some helpful resources if you want to build a detailed wage system in Japan. First, the Basic Survey on Wage Structure. This is provided by the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare and gives you detailed statistical data. It's available in both English and Japanese. Second, the Laws and Regulations on Setting Up Business in Japan pamphlet. Download this comprehensive PDF guide that covers all aspects of HR and business setup, available in 8 languages. And finally, JETRO provides one-stop support for establishing or expanding your business in Japan. You can reach them at contact@jetro.go.jp or visit www.jetro.go.jp/n/invest.